Okay, welcome to today's episode of Digital Avenues Hangouts. Today we have Julie Mason. She's a LinkedIn lead generation expert and sales strategist, and she's known as the social media princess in Australia. Hi, Julie, how are you?
Hi, Sam. I'm very good. Thank you for having me here today.
Thanks for being with us today, and thanks for your time. And we are really interested about this hangout today because you are a lead generation expert for the entrepreneurs and small businesses, and this is what we are focusing on in Digital Avenues Hangout. Um, Tell me, what do you think about LinkedIn as a lead generation tool for the entrepreneurs and small businesses? How they can use it for generating leads?
I think it is a fabulous tool for small businesses and entrepreneurs, and very much one that is untouched by the large percentage on LinkedIn. I think as of the most recent statistics, there are 347 million members on LinkedIn. And in Australia in particular, we have over 6 million members on LinkedIn to date and growing. What's interesting though, Sam, is that probably out of those 347 million, inclusive of Australia, only about 11% of people know how to use LinkedIn effectively. What's interesting though is that the other 89% of the membership on there is that while they may not know how to use LinkedIn well, they're very responsive to contacts through LinkedIn and being approached through LinkedIn. And I think that has a lot to do with the mindset and the culture of that platform.
Yeah, I think I have been working on LinkedIn for a while, and I see it as a great opportunity for generating leads either by sharing content or even by looking at certain people in certain industries and start conversation with them through groups or whatever. So take us with you in like a tour on LinkedIn tools to generate leads. How we can generate leads?
Absolutely. Absolutely. How do we generate leads on LinkedIn? It's a great question. And I think there's got to be a couple of steps before you start lead generation that I recommend all your listeners start with. And that is, first and foremost, get your profile in order, because that is the biggest first impression that you make on LinkedIn. So ensure that you've got a great photo, that you've got a really good headline that sits right under your name. And most people make the mistake there of doing a headline that is their title, like a director of XYZ Proprietary Limited. In fact, there's a great opportunity here for you to talk about how you can benefit your ideal client. So give what we call a value proposition headline. Ensure you've got your contact details filled in. It seems really simple, but do that. That have a good summary. So a good summary is really about ensuring that you explain to your prospects how you can help them. And I think I'll share with you the three biggest mistakes that people make in writing their summary, because in that is the answers to how to write a good summary as well. So the three biggest mistakes people make when writing their summary is, the first thing, it's too short or non-existent. You've actually got 2,000 characters with which to use for your summary, so make the most of this. It's kind of like your ability to tell people who are your ideal clients, what are the problems that they have, how can you solve that, what's the proof of your solution, why should they work with you, and then what's your call to action. And if you follow that formula, you'll write a great summary that people will feel that they can understand how you help them. And then, of course, don't forget to fill in your experience, not just with your titles and positions of where you worked, but a little bit about
What
your
you used to do?
credibility in those areas. Pardon?
Yeah. What you used to do? Who used to be your clients? What kind of problems you used to solve, as you said?
Yeah, exactly. But add a couple of other things on top of that, Sam, as in, what was your greatest achievement in those roles? Because that shows your passion and your pride for what you do, and that credibility. And what skills do you bring with you today that served you, what skills do you learn in that job that serves you well today in helping your clients? And that's a great thing to do as well. But and then don't forget to get some recommendations and endorsements from people that you worked with that can show social proof that you are a trusted person to deal with. So the very first part is getting your profile looking great, so that when people look for you, they have a really good first impression. But moving on from that, in how to generate leads on LinkedIn, of course, we want to connect with people that are our ideal target market. So let's say, for instance, Sam, that as a digital marketing consultant, the people that you would like to work with might be accountants, for example. So they need help with their marketing. They're often very analytical but not very creative. So it's a great match for you to be able to serve them well in that area. And to find accountants, there are a couple of ways you can go about that. The very top of LinkedIn is a fantastic search box. And you can type in accountant, and as you're based in Adelaide, for instance, you might want to work with them locally to start, and type in accountants and filter to Adelaide. And then you can start connecting with them and building a relationship with those people individually, one by one, which builds trust in the most amazing way. That generates client revenue for you. The second thing that you can do is there are over 2.1 million groups on LinkedIn, and there's 8,000 new groups created every week on really diverse industries. So go and do a search for groups that have accountants in them that you can join and add value to those groups. And what I mean by adding value is to create posts that will resonate with those group members and adds value to them. What you do, don't go and sell and do lots of self-promotion that says, hey, I can help you with, because people tend to get repelled by that on LinkedIn. They're really interested in seeing your expertise and you giving great value that's kind of like a little bit of a taste tester of your business and your knowledge and your skills and magic and how you can help people. And so that will sort of establish you as a go-to authority, but it will also increase people interest in how you can actually help them because you're showing the value that you offer.
I just need to add 2 points here from my at least personal experience. Don't misuse the direct messages or connecting with LinkedIn members, because after a while, if you're just sending the default LinkedIn connection request, people will start be annoyed.
That's
So
right.
you have to customize your LinkedIn invitation and make sure that you are sending to the right person who might be interested in what you're saying, and make your invitation customized. And there is like a course for how to write a LinkedIn connection. We can talk about that. But this is one thing. Don't over misuse it. Sometimes it will get people even to report you. I have seen on LinkedIn that if a lot of people saying that they don't know you, LinkedIn will start limiting your ability to send requests. And the other thing, as you mentioned, the groups, as you said, being there's like thousands and thousands of the groups, but you have to choose what groups to you engage in. Or sometimes there's groups of 30, 40 people, and they are not active, and they I think they just joined and they forgot that they just joined that group. So choose the groups
That's right.
you are joining, and as you said, this is a very valid point. Don't sell. No one will buy from you if you are selling, unless there is someone posting a request. Because I have seen this in other groups, someone saying, I need to develop a website, or I need to create an online campaign. So at this
Mm.
time, you can say, yes, I can do that for you, and this is why I'm different. But usually, don't sell. No one will buy this way. Just add value, share content, share tips for the people how they can get benefit of working with you as well.
And I'll add to that because I love the fact that you brought up custom messages when you connect, and I highly recommend that to people. So you get double thumbs up from me, Sam, on that one, because it's a big passion of mine. In fact, I'm so delighted that the apps on the phone nowadays, you can customize your connection request via the app as well, which is fantastic. And but that is really important because it does a couple of things. It immediately steps you head and shoulders above everybody else who's just clicking connect and doing the default messaging. So it creates a great first impression. It shows that you're putting thought into who you're connecting with as well, and so they feel the attention coming through, and so they're then more keen to accept. So you get a higher conversion rate. Yes, it will reduce that issue of being banned. But a couple of things on the group discussions as well, and this is something that I'm seeing less people doing as well as it could be done. And when you write a group discussion or add a post on a group, there's two sections that you can do. There's a title that you can write, which gives you 200 characters. Make it a really compelling title. It kind of does need a little bit of copywriting genius there somewhat, but title formulas that work well are 7 ways you can reduce XYZ in your business, for example, or 3 ways to convert your invitations for acceptance, whatever that might be. But, using really good, headlines that give people easy steps to follow, and that there is an outcome for that is a great headline. And then do a little teaser. Now, I know that LinkedIn now allows you to do the whole, post within that, but my advice here is that you can use group discussions to generate driving traffic back to your website. You can generate it to go to a LinkedIn publish post, or you can, take them somewhere else altogether to an article that isn't even yours, but you think might be of great value to that group. So whichever strategy you want to do, I recommend, definitely putting in a link there to send them one of those places where you can flesh it out a little bit more. Then people get to see more about who you are and the value that you can help them with as well, without needing to try and sell deliberately. It kind of happens on the sideline or wraps them into your brand. So yeah, great points that you made. So awesome.
Yeah,
I think there are
I think
about 50 different ways to market yourself on LinkedIn. So, we're just covering a few of them today.
yeah, I think as you said, you have to give them a call to action,
You do.
a clear call to action in your post, like
Yes.
go to your website to read the rest of the article if it's an article, if you would like to do that. Even as you said, maybe you would like them to go to your profile or whatever, but there should be a clear call to action, and make it clear, which is important today, to make it clear for everyone. I want you to click here, something like that, not like this, but you have to make it simple and clear. This is the
Exactly.
keywords.
There was a study actually done on this from, I can't remember if it's Harvard or Princeton, but about 12 or 13 years ago, about people making decisions. In fact, the results of that study said that people are desperate to be told what to do. So they just don't want to make a decision. If they've got to, even on online marketing, for instance, if you have 2 calls to action on your website, for instance, fill in for a free quote or download this free ebook, and they're the 2 calls to action, you will drop conversion by 70% because people don't know which one to do. So choose a strategy that will get them to become a client as quickly as possible whilst building trust, and have a really defined strategy for that. And even on LinkedIn, your summary, your posts that you do, what is the outcome? Is there a way that they can can learn more from you. And if you don't tell them what that is, there is a big missed opportunity. And in fact, you're not serving your clients or your prospects at all well. You're actually doing them a disservice by not telling them what is the next step that they can take after that point. So really good point to make.
Thank you. Mentioned something, and I would like to talk to you about it. I'm not sure what they think now. There is two
Sure.
things now on LinkedIn. The post, you can post as a person. You can have your own post with articles you would like to share with others, like what you're doing, and you have a great collection of posts on your account, and the groups. So do you think it's more realistic now to focus on making posts and posting them, and LinkedIn Pulse will share this with your network, and people will be able to share that as well? Or you should work more on groups where you target a specific group of people, as you said, maybe accountants, and you go to their group and share some of your posts? What do you recommend in this area?
Really great question. Thank you so much for asking that. I'll give you an example of a client of mine who is a commercial photographer. And the strategy that we spoke with him for him was that that he did a publish post. So there's two types of posts that you can do on your homepage when you're on LinkedIn. There's the status update, which allows you to do about 500 characters thereabouts and add a link or a picture, and that goes into the news feed. Then there is a publish post, which is kind of like a blog post within LinkedIn, where you can have a lot more detail in the post. You can add images, you can add video, you can add hyperlinks to different parts of your website or elsewhere. So that's a great space, because that one is where it gets notified out to your list as well that you've done a post. So for the commercial photographer, John Raymond, highly recommend everyone go and have a look at him, because he's doing great stuff with this strategy, and his last name is Reyment, John Raymond. So basically what I taught him to do was to create a published post, and then when you've done the published post, you get like a unique URL for that post itself. Copy that unique URL and then create group discussions where your target market are hanging out in specific groups, and add that discussion with a link going back to that published post. So you're driving traffic within LinkedIn the whole time. So when he started doing this, he wrote a great post on is your corporate headshot telling the story of your business, or something along those lines. And he wrote a good blog post about the value of a storyline in your corporate headshot, a visual storyline. And he posted that out into about 4 or 5 groups where his target market were hanging out. From just doing that, he generated a half-day photo shoot, a wedding shoot, and a headshot booking,
Wow,
just from leveraging that.
great.
So
That's really great.
yeah.
This is a
So
good
does
idea.
that answer the question? You definitely want to post, but then you want to share that post, leverage that content that you've created.
Yeah, that's really a good idea. So you create the post and then share the post to the group. So you are using both of them to your benefit as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So you were mentioning this nice example for a headshot for a commercial photographer. So do you think that LinkedIn might work for all kinds of businesses, or there's certain types of businesses that can use LinkedIn?
Okay, great question. I think that LinkedIn it has a lot of opportunity and is growing across a wide, diverse range of industries. I think the best potential is really for business to business services. If you're in retail and you're selling let's say you're a clothing store and you're selling clothing, I think that there are better strategies for you to sell your product, such as Pinterest and Instagram and eBay, and combining all of these things, as well as a website with an e-commerce platform on it. Having said that, let's say as the store owner, you are looking for wholesale opportunities as well, where you can wholesale your product out to other people. Then I would say you might find your wholesale clients are on LinkedIn, whereas they're not necessarily going to be your customers buying the end user product, you know, like a dress or a blouse or something. So each business has different strategies. I recently spoke with a lady who does cake making of all things, and she said, is LinkedIn a great fit for me? And I'm thinking, you know, scratching the head going, well, tell me what you want to do with your cake making. And she said, well, I'd like to get more corporate clients. And I said, well, perfect. If that's something that you wanted to do for, you know, the celebration cakes for milestones that a business has got, or special event cakes, then definitely it's a great place for you to hang out, and to connect with perhaps event coordinators that do those kind of things that you can then get referral business from. But it isn't a place, if you're doing wedding cakes necessarily, to hang out on. I would say, again, I'd point you to Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook for building that side of the business, as opposed to necessarily LinkedIn, where you can build the corporate side. So it really depends on your business and what it is that you want to achieve. But there are, you know, diverse groups out there. In fact, there's a really large group of pet industry, you know, groups on LinkedIn, from people who do dog washing through to, you know, pet supplies, and God knows, you know, the opportunity is pretty much limited to just your decision of what you want to do with your business in reality. But yes, I think the best services that work for LinkedIn are people who are doing business to business, you know, in some format. I think that's the perfect playground for them. So accountants, lawyers, you know, web developers, business coaches, anybody like that, they should really be using LinkedIn effectively for their lead generation.
Great. One last question for you. You told me before we start recording that you are running a webinar, I think in next week or something, about LinkedIn generation of leads with one of the top LinkedIn experts in the world. Tell us about that.
Thank you. I am so excited about this webinar, Sam, because, and unfortunately, as we talked, I'm not able to offer a recording for you to send out to your list at this stage because of my arrangements with this person. But I have, through LinkedIn, by the way, through LinkedIn, I have found one of the top LinkedIn advertising experts, how to use LinkedIn pay-per-click ads. And he is going to be joining us on Wednesday next week, Australia time, 10 a.m. in the morning, to share with us the secrets for using LinkedIn ads to generate targeted quality leads for your business. And he has actually done over 610 LinkedIn advertising campaigns in the last 2 years. He has held the largest LinkedIn pay-per-click account in the history of LinkedIn, and he currently manages LinkedIn pay-per-click accounts for the top 3 to 5 businesses in the world in that space. So he has got some gold to share with us next week, and I'm very excited to have him as my special guest presenter.
This is
So
great,
yes,
and
come
we
and
would
join us.
like to have the webinar link on our website, and with this Hangout, we will share it to our fans so they can join the webinar, and we'll be happy to be part of that as well.
Oh, I'm looking forward to having you all join in. It's going to be a very special event. And if you've got something on at 10 o'clock at Brisbane time on Wednesday, I would recommend you change the day and make that time available, because this guy is an absolute legend, and he's going to be bringing some really cool tips and tools for you guys to take away and use in your business to generate quality leads. So very exciting. And I know, Sam, you've already registered, so I'm very excited to
Yeah,
have you on the call
yeah,
with me.
sure. I will attend. It's really important for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn out of that for sure. And this is why I didn't ask you about the LinkedIn ads, because I know that you will talk about it a lot in that webinar, and I would like everyone to attend the webinar as well. So
I
what's
will
your
be
final?
having my notepad and pen ready myself for this one.
Yeah. So what's your final tips for us today before we say thank you?
My final tip actually is when it's a really, really cool tip, and it generates a lot of business for me. So I want to give your viewers, Sam, some pure gold here. Is that cool?
That's great.
Okay, so this is absolutely gold. Is when somebody reaches out and invites you to connect with them, don't just hit accept or ignore, for instance. If you think that they are a nice person and that they've got some value that they could add, or you could learn from them, whatever it might be. Most people, by the way, are not scammers on LinkedIn, so it's pretty safe to accept nearly 90% of your invitations. If, however, if they're, generally saying that they're from the head of the Bank of Scotland, I'm probably going to say it's a scam profile. Generally speaking, is what my experience is at the
I
moment.
received this invitation, by the way.
Refuse that invitation
I
with the
received
greatest
that
respect.
one.
But when you do accept, I always recommend that you use instead of the invitation icon at the very top right of your LinkedIn profile, go to the message box and accept it through the invitation section of the message box, because as soon as you click accept, it actually pops up and says, would you like to start a conversation with that person? Now, I'm going to share with your viewers the default type of message that I use every single time, unless I know the person. If it's somebody that I don't know, this is the message that I use, and it goes, dear whoever their name is, thank you for reaching out and connecting with me. I look forward to getting to know you further on LinkedIn. And then a new paragraph, out of curiosity, what inspired you to connect with me and how can I help you? Cheers, Julie. Now that message, I get about 30 to 40 invitations a week, Sam. So when I send that message out, I generally get a very high response, and people really open up when they use that message. They tell me all about themselves and why they've reached out to connect with me and how can I help them. And so I'm usually generating between 5 to 6 leads a week just from doing that alone.
But this is a great tip, and thank you for sharing your lines. And I'm sure
Write
everybody
it
will
down,
start
people.
using that. This is really helpful. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. It's taken me 6 years to refine that message to get it working so it really responds with people. So make sure you take down every single word, because it's a great, great line.
Thank you again, Julie, today. Thank you for the time and for your tips and for sharing your lines as well. And we will be
My
looking
pleasure.
forward to join you in the webinar next week. And we would like to have you again in Digital Avenues Hangouts.
I'd be delighted. Thank you for inviting me. It's been a great session. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you very much. Bye.